Beloved Infidel has one of the most beautiful, heartfelt, emotional moments in all of Frasier. And that is a spoiler, so I'll discuss that with a spoiler warning in a little bit. This is the eighth episode of the first season of Frasier. It's directed by Andy Ackerman. It's got 8.0 out of 10 on IMDb, which I think is a pretty fair rating for this episode. And it focuses on Martin Crane and his potential relationship with Marion Lawlor, played by Pat Crowley. Marion Lawlor is somebody from Niles and Frasier's childhood. Their family was friends with their family. And one day, while out at a restaurant together having dinner, Niles and Frasier happened to see Martin spending time with this woman and being quite close to her. And Niles looks back through his childhood diaries, which gives us some brilliant, brilliant lines as he theoretically reads them out and shares some of the vocabulary of his 9-year-old self, which I just absolutely love. More than that, I love his critique on his 9-year-old self's writing. I particularly enjoyed that. And they come to the conclusion that Martin must have had an affair with this woman, and they kind of don't want to believe that. And there's this great bit with Daphne where Daphne just kind of comes out with it in front of Martin. I just loved how blunt she was. I loved the scene where she was helping Martin exercise, actually, and the whole mentioning that he's too intelligent to say what he was saying while she was in that position and could easily hurt him. I just thought it was, it was funny, it was quirky, it worked very well. I also loved Eddie's performance on the sofa. Watching Moose perform is a real treat. He's just, not only is he adorable, but he's unbelievably talented. I just could never imagine how a dog can be so obedient and understand such commands so precisely. Now, I don't know how many takes Eddie took on the sofa, but just watching it is wonderful. The narrative is really emotional and really sentimental. Lilith gets a mention, which I love, being a big Cheers fan. I watched Frasier before I watched Cheers, so my relationship with Lilith is kind of backwards almost, but I'm a big, big Lilith fan. I love Lilith, and any mention of her makes me so happy. It is a very moving episode, and the final scene, I think it's the final scene, between Frasier and Martin is the one where Martin makes the comment about a birthmark. That is such a moving scene, and I just absolutely adore it. So I guess the spoiler from now is that, well, it's the truth. When the truth was revealed that Martin wasn't the one who had an affair and that it was their mother, that in itself was unexpected. But what was the most shocking is when the penny dropped that Martin had lied to protect his wife and to protect his children's belief and opinion of their wife. As it's just, that's such a selfless thing, an incredibly selfless thing. Because other than the satisfaction of knowing his children aren't thinking negatively of their mother, he doesn't really get any benefit from that. And just when I realised that he did this incredibly selfless thing, I'm welling up thinking about it. It was so moving, and it doesn't matter how many times I watch the episode, that will hit me. And then the conversation between Martin and Frasier confesses what Lilith did, with a nod back to a Cheers storyline, which is the bit that I loved. Really great episode, or series of episodes where Lilith's in this ecosystem. And they have this bonding moment between the two of them. That's quite rare, but when it does happen, it's lovely to see. It's a very moving episode. There's a lot of comedy, of course. It's a very funny episode. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. But the moving, emotional aspect is so raw and so powerful. And I just loved it. Definitely a really brilliant episode.